Who are you and what do you do?
Daniel Sheppard. I'm Managing Director with MedWorld Advisors, and we do mergers and acquisitions advisory for med device, med tech, and digital health companies.
Tell me a bit more about that. Where is your scope? Is it national? Is it international? What's an ideal type of company that you've worked with and have had good outcomes for?
Sure. So scope-wise, we are global. We do have an office in Hong Kong as well as one in Switzerland and collaboration partners around the globe. And our headquarters is in Boston. Our first scope, we focus on small to medium-sized and early-stage companies. So I will say it's not a one-size-fits-all. I mean, every med device company is different. We deal with a lot of companies at a lot of different stages, but I think ideally, I think I'd probably point back, I think Deb did a great job of kind of pointing out what's the ideal company for a saleable process in med device, and it's having your IP in place, your reimbursement in place, having the FDA approvals and some sales to go off of.
What's characteristic of a company that may approach you that upon you doing your due diligence and determining whether it's worth your time and effort, that you determine, you know what, you don't have what it takes in place and I just can't help you. What are those kind of signs, and maybe you can educate us about what we should not be doing?
Well, I think a lot of times it comes down to, I think it was touched on yesterday, there's a lot of people that we see that aren't fully developed, that aren't ready to engage with us, and a lot of times it comes down to the business case. And I think this is probably an oversimplified example, but we see a lot of people that come to us that have worked on product development, have got their IP in place, know what the reimbursement is, but their commercialization plan is somewhat of a, hey, our market size is this big, so we must be able to take a small bit of that. Mm-hmm. It hasn't been fully thought through. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one example, but as we ask more questions about their plan, you can kind of start to see where those holes are. So I would say just having people surround you that can kind of give you appropriate feedback to where you are at as a company is really helpful.
You mentioned a number of offices around the world, and you mentioned this scenario where somebody may not have well thought out their commercialization plan. Is that a service you provide, or is that someone that's in part of your network that you would refer?
Yeah, that is a service we provide. It's not a core focus of our business. Primarily, we are an M&A firm, but we have helped some companies in the past with commercialization strategies.
And I know that yours is a bit of a family business. Can you just tell us a little bit about your dad and where he worked and why I got to know him as well as I have?
Yeah. Prior to starting at MedWorld Advisors, he worked at a lot of the larger strategics like Covidien and such, kind of working on the opposite end of the table, negotiating with those smaller firms, coming to the table with lawyers and general managers and 15 people facing the smaller company with maybe 2, and you can kind of tell that they're a little intimidated. So it kind of came his passion to go on the other side and help the smaller companies be well represented and also kind of achieve the goals that they had kind of set out at the beginning.
A good skill set to have in that role. Daniel, thank you very much.